No music tonight, by the way.
I would hope not.
What's going on, guys? It's Matt Marinoff, Real Estate Recovery Group. I'm gonna throw back with an oldie right now. It's a song that Leah likes. I'm only kidding. Leah doesn't like music, so we're not doing any music. Leah Chambers, Matt Marinoff, Real Estate Recovery Group. Amistad. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about a little bit about the market. We are only doing these types of exclusivities on a short sale 101 group. So if you have somebody going forward and you see some value and you want to tell them to join, tell them to come on down like Monty Hole. So guys, there's a lot of changing going on in the market right now. People are questioning what's going on. So as usual, Lee and I are going to try to decipher what is going on in the market so everybody understands. We're not going to take the video down. The video is going to stay up. You guys can rewind, whatever it is that you want to do. This is just being a part of the group and the information that we're going to provide. I will tell you that the information that we provide tonight is 100% accurate. So if you ask somebody or you repeat any of the information that we supply tonight, and they come back and say you have no idea what you're talking about, throw them in the group. Leah, how we doing tonight?
Doing okay. It's been a long day. So, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. What's going on over there in the household of Leah? Everything good?
Yeah, it's just a cranky toddler. That's what it is right now.
It's okay. It happens. No worries. So, guys, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. And I think up first, let's talk a little bit about Fannie Mae. Leah's going to give us some updates on what's going on. So sit tight, enjoy. Hopefully you're eating your dinner. And if you are over the age of 21, you're enjoying an adult beverage. Leah, go ahead.
So on May 13th, forgive me, it was May 13th. I'm going to pull up the exact dates here because it just went off my screen. The Federal Housing Finance Agency sent out a bulletin stating that the following was going to occur. It is that we're extending the foreclosure and eviction moratorium, and that is for enterprise-backed mortgages, which are Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And they also announced, that was on May 14th. On the day before that, on the 13th, they also announced that Fannie and Freddie are to offer payment deferral as a new repayment option for homeowners in the COVID-19 forbearance plans. So those are two big things, very important, mainly because everybody was in the beginning of this whole situation running and getting forbearances thinking that they were deferments, which, if you guys remember, a month and a half ago, I stated that a forbearance and deferment are two completely different things, to not be confused with each other. And at the time, there was no sight that this would be offered. That has now since changed, but caveat is it is only for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac conventional mortgages. And then Matt just gets quiet. So.
Oh! It's like I'm sliding in and out. Oh, here we go again.
Right.
Okay, so Fannie Mae and so you want to cover a little bit about Freddie Mac as well?
As far as what they are?
Yeah.
All right. So Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, they are government. Oh, geez. I just told you what the GSC stands for, and I completely just drew a blank.
The government-sponsored enterprise?
Thank you. They are federally backed mortgages, basically. So it's federal money that these two entities have taken into as a grant. I'm just simplifying it for you. And they are basically the housing. They handle the financial services for the housing market for the United States government. With that being said, it's not to be confused with a HUD loan, which is also a government. It's a whole different situation. Nonetheless, Fannie and Freddie, if you guys also remember, were the two biggest components to the housing market crash back in 2008. They were the two of the biggest ones that were in trouble. They were placed beneath the scrutiny with the DOJ, as well as their servicers, such as Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and so forth and so on. They are the holders of conventional mortgages. Now, make sure that everybody's clear. Conventional and private versus conventional GSE are two completely different loan types. Conventional private is your bank and private loans. So if it's backed by or was once backed by Merrill Lynch, Downey, I'm trying to think of all the different like hedge funds and um, uh, wealth and private wealth and market funds and things of that nature. That's what a bank and private loan is, or consider an asset loan. But a Fannie Freddie GSE conventional is just what it is. It's a GSE conventional loan, so that's government-backed funding.
And I'm back. So I'm trying to answer questions on a file right now. In any event,
Yeah.
so guys, look, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, in the beginning, right, forbearance. Now they're talking deferment. Leah, let's talk a little bit about the fact that these things are going to be running on. They're saying supposedly for a year where they're going to do it.
So, okay, hold on.
And let's
Reword that for me.
Let's make it clear that people understand who is eligible for this term that they're talking about, up to 12 months for the forbearance slash the deferment or what they're doing. Maybe we could break it down a little bit so people can get an understanding of really
Sure.
what's being offered to them.
Okay, so it is for the individuals that are currently in the COVID-19 disaster forbearance plan. Those individuals, these are the people that have forbeared their mortgages for the 30, 60, 90, 120-day period. And they are concerned about entering the repayment portion of the end of their forbearance period once it's done with. All of the servicers for every loan type has been advised that if you have issued a forbearance option to a homeowner, they are to begin their loss mitigation review 30 days prior to the end of the forbearance period. So if your forbearance period ends July, means June 1, they should automatically put you into loss mit program to see what they can offer you, whether it be a modification, a repayment plan, what have you. Now, with that being said, the way the GSEs have worded it is as if you do not qualify to repay, meaning you haven't gone back to work, you're receiving unemployment, there's no way you're going to pay a $3,000 mortgage payment, receiving $600 a week, and you have other bills to pay, like your car note, your credit card, your utilities, blah, 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 right? Groceries. And you don't qualify for a modification because your loan has already met their max allowed of modifications, or you don't income qualify for a modification, then they're going to offer you the option of doing a 12-month deferral. So they will take 12 months or up to 12 months. Let me sure to say this. It's up to 12 months of your mortgage payments and throw it to the back of your mortgage. Now, people are like, oh, so that means I can skip my mortgage payment for a year. Not quite. So again, you have to have already been in the forbearance plan for the COVID-19 and then be placed into the loss mit review and fail the various previous options. So I have been asked, well, what if I don't want to do the repay plan? And what if I don't want the loan modification? I just want the deferral. Unfortunately, it's a waterfall review, so you're not going to have that as an automatic option. Now, as you guys know, things have changed in the last month and a half. We kept screaming, don't do the forbearances because it's not going to help you if they don't plan on doing a deferment. Now the deferments are here. Is it too late to get the forbearance? No, it's not too late unless you're already more than 30 days behind. So there's a lot of like caveats and things that you have to be cognizant of before you just jump into and thinking that you can get away with not paying your mortgage.
So Leah, so just so we understand, because the government is making it one way. They're basically stating or suggesting that they have up to 12 months to pay their mortgage back. And or they're taking the deferment of it, and they're actually saying that they're putting the difference of it on the back of the mortgage, so back of the loan. So how does that work? Because obviously people are misinformed, they're not understanding what's going on, and they want to get more of an idea. Like, let's say Johnny down the street has a loan with Wells Fargo. Janet up the street has a loan with Wells Fargo. One of them has a Fannie Mae Fannie Mae Freddie loan, but the other one doesn't. They just have like a regular convention loan. How does that work for somebody like that?
So, all right. I will read it directly from the horse's mouth just so that you guys understand. And this is going to on the Freddie Mac site. So, literally, it says verbatim. In March, Freddie Mac announced it was taking a number of actions to assist homeowners facing financial hardship due to COVID-19. These included forbearance, during which a borrower's payments are reduced or suspended. While borrowers in forbearance must repay the missed payments, full repayment immediately following forbearance is just one of many options, but you're not required to do so. Because if that's the case, then if you can't repay it, they put you in lost mint options. That was all said from the beginning. That being said, it goes on to say owners facing a hardship are entitled up to 12 months of forbearance. Servicers will start a shorter plan and reassess to see if an extension for up to 12 months is necessary. Once the hardship has been resolved, there are several options for borrowers to repay the money owed, including obviously the reinstatement, paying it up front, repayment plan. So taking chunks of what you didn't pay and spreading it out over a certain amount of time with your regular monthly mortgage payment. A deferral, which is literally doing exactly what we've been saying that they probably weren't going to do, but now they've decided to make liars out of us and say that they are. Taking that missed payment period and throwing it to the back of the mortgage, which is still considered a modification, just a FYI, or going through the regular modification process. So that is directly from the Freddie Mac website. Fannie Mae has the exact same wording, a little bit prettier, because they start off by saying Fannie Mae reminds homeowners are not required to pay missed payments all at once. And then it goes down to saying the same thing, like, hey, this is what we've offered. You guys can do the following items, which is to reinstate, do repayment plan, do a deferment mod, or do a loan modification. So again, but you have to show keywords that the hardship is resolved. Now, how do you do that? Show that you've gone back to work. You provide proof of income. Same thing of any other loan modification or workout plans has been available to homeowners through their mortgages for the last 11 years, 12 years. So.
I don't know if that's going to answer everybody's question. I'm sorry, Lee. Somebody just reached out to me. It's a real estate agent, and their homeowners freaking out. They haven't paid their mortgage in 1.5 years. She wants to know what she can do to save her house. She doesn't have any money to pay her bank at all.
No income at all whatsoever?
No income, no money to pay the bank.
If she doesn't have okay. Sidebar. Guys, you cannot apply for an unemployment forbearance if you're more than 12 months overdue and you have no income coming into your household. You won't get a mod because you don't qualify. So if she doesn't have money saved up, that's one thing.
Right.
But if she doesn't have active income, that's another. So,
Leah, what are we seeing as far as clients that are reaching out to us, past clients, or people in general that are asking us, hey, I already did a modification. Is any of this stuff going to apply to them? Like if they've already done all the modifications and they're talking about this 12-month grand scheme that they have, you're talking about 30 days prior to popping out of whatever this forbearance program that they have. They're talking about adding on an additional, 7 months or 6 months to make it 6 months, 8 months to make it an even 12 months. But what if they've already had a modification? What if they've already exhausted all other options and they don't have a job? What's going on at that point?
So if you don't qualify for any modification option of any sort, can't do reinstatement, can't do repay, then they will start discussing liquidation options with you, which is going through the short sale or going through the deed in lieu or just selling your house outright. There were some murmurs of the hardest hit fund coming back into play, but with the way that the second stimulus package looks like it's going to get knocked down in Senate, I don't see that happening.
When you say second stimulus, the second round of checks going out.
So they haven't been approved through Senate. The House approved it. Senate has not. And there's all kinds of politicians on their Twitter saying that they absolutely will not let a second stimulus package go through for various reasons. And so if you think about it in that retrospect, if we have politicians that are saying, no, we're not going to give you another bailout to help survive, what makes you guys think they're going to give federal funding again to these hardest hit programs to help people reinstate their mortgages? It's an ugly, vicious cycle.
So you don't believe with every fiber of your bone that they're going to have like a 3.0 or 4.0, any type of HAMP programs?
No. No.
So for the people that are holding out for those types of programs or think that they're going to get it, what programs? I mean, obviously, if somebody's never been through a crisis before and they're running into a crisis now, they might have a better chance than somebody who's actually gone through the program or the process before to be able to help themselves. What about the people that have already been through a situation and they have not been able to keep their house? Now what?
So I don't know. I mean, there's you have the people that have never gone through the hardship situation and they've been able to make their mortgage payments on time
Mhm,
and are the ideal candidate, right?
mhm.
Because this is supposed to a loan modification originally when it was created was not for a redundant bailout. It was for a one-time, I screwed up, this is what happened, I need help, one and done. It turned into people abusing the system and reapplying and getting granted these modifications and then just putting themselves in a poor position. Or people automatically or purposely put themselves in default so they can get that great 2% interest rate, not reading the fine paperwork saying, hey, 2% lasts for 5 years. After that, for every year for 5 years, we will increase your interest rate by 1/4%. So
That's what they call that the step rate program, correct?
correct, and that's what HAMP was. That's exactly what HAMP was. And but just nobody decided to read past the five
Nobody decided to read past it, or
right.
the people that were getting involved and fictitiously, hold up, trying to say that they were trying to help somebody, or they looked at it as another way to scam money off of homeowners.
There's a lot of stuff that's going on with the HAMP programs that people were abused, including a lot of attorneys, bankruptcy attorneys.
Let's talk about, and this isn't off topic about foreclosure, so we could talk about it. And this is part of the real hard talk. So we have somebody that had reached out to us. It doesn't matter how they got to us, but they had gotten to us. They were in a very precarious situation with their real estate agent. They were current on their mortgage. They were not late. Everything was fine. And then they got involved with these silly rascals, and they basically sold these people a horrible bill of goods. Why don't you tell them? And you know what I'm talking about. I hope
Mhm.
you do. Why don't you tell them a little bit about like a heads up of guys? If you're going to be a shady MF, I'll say that MF. Uh, don't do this. Tell them what these guys did.
Are you talking about the one from with the
Yep.
emails?
Yep.
Friday night's email? Okay. So like Matt said, we got a referral and the client I spoke to the clients for about 15 minutes. They kind of gave me the overview that they had listed the property or they wanted to list all the property because they couldn't keep up with the mortgage payments, but they were still doing it. So he was barely breaking even. And then his next door neighbor who was interested in purchasing the property for their children, I guess, or their son or daughter or what have you, um, talked him into listing the property. So he listed it with an agent. So mind you, the neighbors are family friends. They're very close to each other. The seller had bailed them out of situations previously, like helped them get the tenant, get into the tenancy next door. It was a lot. It was like very neighborly. Nonetheless, of course, he wants to sell the house to someone he knows is going to take care of the house. So he was like, "Yeah, sure, let's get this going." But I need an agent. So the potential buyer got an agent involved, and his agent's like, "Oh yeah, sure, no problem. We'll just get this done the right way." Did some homework. They started to try and go through traditional sale. Found out that they couldn't go through traditional sale because the property was not worth. It was underwater. So then the agent said, "Hey, you know what? We'll just go ahead and go through the short sale process and move forward." Well, fast forward a year and a half later, Nothing has nothing has happened. House actually was never placed in the MLS. The agent had the homeowner sign two peculiar contracts. One contract was your average MLS listing agreement. This is the percentage. This is whatnot. And then they also had them sign a non-compete and exclusive listing disclosure that stated that the listing brokerage would not work with any other brokerages and that the house would never be placed in the open MLS.
Wait, didn't they also sign a document for power of attorney?
Yeah, I'm getting that point yet. I'm getting to that point. Hold on. Let me get to that. So, of course, my seller, who unfortunately there's a language barrier. He is Spanish speaking, so he is entrusting someone of his culture to take care of him because that's one of the biggest thing about Spanish culture is we're very trusting to our own kind. I hate to say it like that, but that's just kind of how it is. With that being said, so he thinks he's in good hands. He thinks everything is going well. And then all of a sudden, the bank is pummeling him with phone calls and whatnot. So the buyer said, "Hey, I'll take care of it. Just give me power of attorney." So seller says, "Okay, sure. Why not? If you want to take these phone calls, okay." Gives power of attorney, signs a piece of paper, not in front of a notary, is told it's okay. It's totally legal. Power of attorney gets signed and notarized by I don't know who. So I mean, as you guys know, you get a notary, you have to sign in front of the notary. That's yeah. And then he just lost all communication with the bank. He had no way of speaking to the bank, find out what's going on with the bank, nothing. Again, fast forward it. During all this time, mind you, he's breaking his back to make this mortgage payment. So that his agent tells him, "Don't make the mortgage payments anymore. You don't have to." So he stopped.
How long into the process, Leah, was this going on, and then the actual real estate agent stated stop making your mortgage payments?
So it started within the first. He was told to stop making his mortgage payments within the first 3 months
Wait,
of the transaction.
so that's
Yeah,
so a year he didn't make payments.
he is 17 months behind on his mortgage
So
right
I
now.
want to ask a question. When the real estate agent approached him, did he have the 10 Commandments and a staff in front of him? Like, did he bang it on the ground, and then like did the bank doors open, and all of a sudden he understood something that the majority of people that
Mm,
understand how real estate works?
no, no, he just took advantage of this gentleman who is a blue collar worker who has an incredibly amazing story about coming to this country and everything he worked for and everything he did. And to hear this man who was very prideful break down not once but twice with me on the phone. I mean, literally, like, and coming from a Hispanic family on my mom's side, my uncle and my grandfather would never cry in front of a female. To hear this man break down that way was heartbreaking. Like, I actually called the referring agent, which was somebody not even involved with the situation. She just happened upon them. I called her after because I was like, I need a drink. Like, I that broke my heart to hear him like that. So in any event, so let's fast forward a little bit more. Um, Seller got wise. He decided to reach out to an agent that we work with. And he started asking the appropriate questions like, "Hey, the bank sent me a letter saying that my short sale was denied because the house was never listed." He's like, "But I signed a contract. I don't understand." And as the seller is asking more questions, more probing questions, and he's getting educated, he's finding out that he's been duped for the last year and a half. So, the referring agent reached out to us, asked that we call to see what we can do. And then I had asked the homeowner when I talked to him, did you ask the agent, the current listing agent, just to withdraw the listing that you're done, that this is a non-issue? And when they said yes, and that the agent was ignoring them, me and my infinite wisdom decided to become less than desirably unprofessional, but professional. And I reached out to the attorney that's now handling it, asked him his opinion. He gave me his opinion via email, talked to Matt, and then I told them what we needed to do. Just write this exact verbiage to them to have them withdraw it. The seller listened, sent it to them in mail, sent it to me in email. The broker comes back and says, we're not getting rid of we're not dropping your listing. The purchaser is actually, I'll read the exact email that he wrote just so that you guys can understand. Give me just
I
a
love
second.
it. I love it.
All right. So that was Friday, right, Matt? Which is the 16th.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So the broker said, "Hello, seller's name. I hope this email finds you well. I'm in receipt of your letter sent to my office dated 5/13 requesting an unconditional release of our listing agreement to sell your property located at," which ends August 3rd, 2020. "And based on misrepresentation from our office due to your property not being published in the Garden State MLS or any other MLS. As a response to your letter, I'm attaching to this email a copy of the waiver of broker cooperation," which is the doc I told you guys about, "document that you signed with my office where you authorize and acknowledge that your property will not be marketed in any MLS and that we do not cooperate with any other broker or agency to sell your property. Also attaches our listing agreement that, as I mentioned, ends 8/3/2020. Unfortunately, at this moment, I am not able to release your property from the listing agreement due to the fact that we have been notified by the buyer of your property that he or she has introduced documents in the courthouse to commence legal actions against you as a seller, owner of this property in order to make you perform and complete the pending real estate transaction. As you understand, this situation will put my agency in a very difficult situation in which we will have to stay in status quo and freeze all future action until otherwise decided by the legal means. Feel free to contact me." So I get this, I get this forwarded to me. I read it and I responded as such.
When did you respond back?
Uh, let's see, the email came at 7:45. I responded at 7:48 p.m. So 3 minutes later
On Friday.
on Friday night. Yeah,
Like to know you were working.
I'm always working.
I
So
know.
my response, "So Mr. Broker," said the broker's name, "I hope that this email finds you well and in good health. I am reaching out to you in regards to the below email that was reported to me by our mutual client. Please note that I am a short sale negotiator and have been enlisted to help," client's name, "with the short sale of his home. Client advised that he has been less than pleased with the transaction thus far and with valid reason. It has also been brought to my attention that the short sale bank denied the proposed purchase contract for various reasons, one of them being failure to list the property on the open MLS. It is interesting to hear that a buyer is attempting legal action against a distressed seller, which is prohibited per Mars regulations. What grounds do they have? Seller would like nothing more but to be done with the property, but his file has not been handled accordingly for a short sale. I have forwarded your email to seller's legal counsel and will also advise that of supposed legal action that you mentioned. Please note the county has no record of said action. Do you have proof? You will also be reported to the Real Estate Commission for your practices in your direct force of sellers being railroaded into foreclosure to accommodate an obvious pocket buyer. If you'd like to discuss this matter in an amicable fashion, it would be appreciated, but the threats made against our client are not appreciated. I look forward to hearing from you." So then I took that. I notified the attorney. I notified Matt. I interrupted a card game with his family because I was really upset. And he reached out to the client as well, or to the attorney. And the attorney said he would handle it on Monday because obviously it's the weekend. Nobody's going to answer.
But just so you know, the attorney did call me on Sunday and he wanted a synopsis of it.
Yeah.
Laughing because he knew basically what they have tried to do was 100 million% illegal. Go ahead.
Right. So, with that being said, the attorney reached out and also pointed out the obvious, a couple of things, which let me pull up the attorney's email that he sent us.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Guys, this is the part where you need to wake the F up. Listen to what Lee is going to say right now. This is super important. Do not commit fraud. You're going to lose your license. Go ahead.
Yeah. So attorney responded back to me and said, "Hey, Leah, I just spoke with the broker. He'll have the agent who's dealing with this call me, but I'm trying to have this amicably released listing," which I understand, right? I pointed out to the following in my hope to persuade him to do the right thing. One, he can't have a short sale that is not listed on MLS. The fact they did this, in the attorney's opinion, makes their contract with the seller unenforceable. Number two, it appears the same person dated the document for both the agent and the seller. This draws the entire date of this document into question. And there's also an inconsistency between the first page of the listing agreement and the other page that states that this will not be listed in the MLS. The first page of the agreement states the buyer's agent will get a 4% commission, while the next doc says that they won't work with any other brokers. And of course, they could argue that the 4% was meant for a buyer's agent within their own agency. My strong suspicion is that they used the first document to mislead the short sale lender into thinking that this was a straight by the book MLS listed sale, and they never sent the short sale lender the second document. So he said he's reached out to him, whatnot. I responded back to the attorney, and I was like, I'll admit, I emailed the broker, and this is what I wrote. And I apologize for the passionate and probably infuriating email, but I was just blindsided by the seller and his grief upon the broker's email. And then I told the attorney, I said, I'll just sit behind you from this point on. And when the attorney responded back and says, thank you, your email is spot on. Well done. Well done. Don't let Matt take the credit.
That is 1,000,000,000% correct, and I did laugh out loud when I saw that.
Yeah, it was great. So this morning we received the unconditional release.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, the agent had to stick it to the homeowner one last time and sent him a nasty gram personally. So that is now being handled on a different level. But we are going to get this homeowner back under control with his situation and hopefully move on to the next chapter of his life.
It's a shame, Leah, because you can help people and you can make money. You don't have to have, and unfortunately, it almost sounds like there's criminal minds that are out there that feel like they can get over. Now, I want to make it very clear, and that's why I put realtors, brokers, wake up. I really wanted to write wake the F up because this is not going to be the same as 2008, guys. And when this thing starts creeping around, when these guys come back with the shenanigans and they have, an exclusive listing and then they have a regular listing agreement and then they try to pull papers and then they try to, hold the property and do different things and pocket listings, you're going to get spanked, guys. You're going to get into a lot of trouble. So maybe it's just okay just to be a real estate agent. You could be an entrepreneur. My whole thing with the 9 to 5, you want to have a job, 9 to 5, you want to be an entrepreneur. Leave out the part where you're being a criminal. Nobody wants to work with you. And that particular real estate agent was basically trying to put the homeowner on the spot. But you know what? The homeowner doesn't know what he's doing. He's relying on the expertise of somebody who's a real estate agent and hoping that the real estate agent's going to do the right thing. So that could have ended up being a complete shit show. But I will say this, 17 months, he stopped paying the mortgage 3 months in because a real estate agent. I mean, is the guy's, what was, actually, I almost said the guy's name, which would have been funny. But the fact that the guy actually said to the homeowner to stop making your mortgage payments, like, do people not realize, Leah, the ramifications legally that they can get fined and or they can lose their real estate license?
So I don't think so, and I'll say this in defense of some inept and novice real estate agents. A lot of them have no clue what short sales are. I'm sure they've heard about it. I'm sure their brokers have told them to deter themselves from it because it's a what do they say? A dauntless and unrewarding task. Is what I've heard before. And I think a lot of times they just Google things and Google says, hey, you have to be so many payments behind to qualify, which if they look at the Google link is like, 10 years old.
Right.
So the worst part about it is, I'm getting a visitor.
I want to go to walk.
Okay.
Can my papa with me?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Sorry, it's my 5-year-old. In any event, I should even lose my train of thought. Oh yeah, so real estate agents that they just don't know. They don't know, and they're too prideful to ask for help or to actually do the homework or read. I mean, all of this stuff is available online if you really look for it. You can pick up the phone and call the bank, and the bank will provide it to you typically. But I mean, it's just if your SFR training does mention where these regulations can be found. It's just nobody ever looks at them.
So do you find that the majority of the people that are real estate agents that are somewhat novice or, people that are trying to dabble in short sales, we get a lot of people that are faking it. You can't fake it, obviously, with somebody who's in distress with their house. The sad thing is that we've been on one or more phone conversations with people where they're blasé about it. Oh, the house went to sell today. Don't worry about it. I'll call you back. When I get when I get another short set. Like, come on, get in the car, kids. We're going to dinner. The people don't realize that are quote unquote trying to help people. That the people that are in trouble, like legit, like they're looking to you for advice. You can't just shrug this stuff off. You can't fake it. So I say to people, look, if you're in a situation and maybe you think you've got something and you want to bring it to Leah and me, this is Leah's direct email address. This is the best way to contact Leah. Leah lives on her email. So,
Yeah.
if you want to reach out to Leah direct and you have any questions or concerns about a potential client, you could email her. Her email address is ah@rergroupllc.com. It's ah@rergroupllc.com. Now, you could email her. I got even one better than that. Let's say you talk to a client 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. You don't know how to go get a hold of anybody regarding help, but looking for somebody to find out before it's too late. Well, don't wait. You could call the 866 number. That's running 24/7, 365. That means even on Christmas Eve,
Yep.
people are going to answer the phone. You could call 866-739-3960. 866-739-3960. I'm putting this up there, guys, because I am tired. After 15 years doing short sales and dealing with people that think they know better than the professionals. And you never hear me say anything about Real Estate Recovery Group as far as the professional, we're the best, we know everything. Guys, rules, regulations, and guidelines, you can't follow them and you don't know how to negotiate off of them, you're going to get your ass kicked by the bank. And possibly in a situation like this, Leah, I truly believe, based on the notes, the platform notes that I saw in our system, if we didn't get involved, what if the file got shut down for fraud?
So it was heading to that point. For that particular file, I was able to get a foot in the door with the bank just to kind of find out what was really going on. And it was headed that way. Luckily, it's with a bank that I have a couple of relationships with some of the negotiators and explained to them that the homeowner was bamboozled by this broker. And so there is some level of leniency. However, now the file will be scrutinized. So I'm in for a long haul. I should say Will is, because his processing side is going to be torturous.
Mm-hmm. But as far as like the relationship side of it, right? Having the relationships, do you think it's important to have relationships with banks? Even if you don't have a single point of contact, learn how to build the relationships. Relationships are really what's going to get it done. Don't throw gasoline on a fire.
No.
We take over files and they're like, thank you. Even if they don't know us, they're thank you because they're human beings on the other side. They have a job to do. So the relationships that you're building, obviously with the bank, are important. Keep the relationships going. What are we hearing from the bank side, Leah? From the negotiators, the intakers, the processors, the underwriters on the bank side. What are they really saying about people across the board? Not only real estate agents, but the people that they're dealing with, as far as not complying or sending out the same email over and over again. What are we hearing from complaints on the bank side?
So, from some of the guys that I deal with on a constant basis, they number one, when they talk to myself or Will, they feel refreshed because they know they're talking to someone who understands what they're looking for. Now, granted, Will has his that love him and hate me, and then I have mine that love me and don't care too much for Will. Because it all depends on what phase we're coming in on it. Because sometimes Will gets hot and heavy, sometimes I get hot and heavy. But for the majority, they recognize our names when we're coming through on the email, and they're like, "Oh, it's awesome! Let me tell you about this like while I'm talking to you about your file, gotta tell you about this craziness." So, like this morning, I had to call Rushmore. And I talked to one of my favorite negotiators there, and he was telling me about this homeowner. going through short sale. She's been approved. It was entitled to relocation assistance. However, Rushmore is now doing final walkthroughs to make sure the properties are actually occupied. So this homeowner, what she did is she actually got mannequins and put them throughout the house to make it look like someone was in the house this entire time, but nobody lives there.
That's fucking awesome.
And so I had to ask him, like, so you guys did your final walkthrough and closing is tomorrow. What are you going to do with the relo? He's just like, well, I've got to make a decision to let this lady have it or not have it. I'm like, dude, let her have it for creativity. He's just like, yeah. I don't know when she moved. So she could have very well have moved in the last 10 days. And it could have been like a deterrent from people from breaking into the house. And I can't stop her. But
can we get any of those photos?
No, we can't, unfortunately.
Because that would be funny as hell to have.
Hilarious when he told me that. He's just like, oh my God. So
what was the purpose of her doing that? So if they drove by, they saw people were in the property?
Right. That looked like our property was occupied. Yeah.
So I mean, was it one of those Christmas ones? Like,
he said it was like something from a scene from Home Alone. It's all he would tell me. And I'm like, you've got to show me these pictures. He's just like, I like my job too much. No. I'm like, okay, you suck. Yeah, it was pretty funny. So I mean, I've had that. I actually had a negotiator reach out to us to ask if we would help educate this homeowner about her rights as a homeowner with a deed in lieu versus short sale. He's just like, I can't explain this to her any further. He's like, you're the only person I know that can explain this to her. So can you call her? And I said, sure. This is our Carrington negotiator.
So you're saying an actual servicer reached out to, well, they do, but go ahead.
Yeah, our negotiator from Carrington literally called and said, hey, I need your help. And I said, you need my help with what? I said, with one of my files? And he was like, no. He's like, lady needs to do a deed in lieu. She wants to do deed in lieu. She's ancient. He's like, but she doesn't understand that she has to list it in order to go through the deed in lieu process.
Right.
And so I called her and I said, well, you do have to have it listed. And this is part of the process. And the first thing she said to me is like, well, I don't want to pay anybody's commission. You don't have to. You just have to have it listed. Even if it never sells, you have to have it listed for so many days to proceed with your deed in lieu. And I was able to help that. So now I told that negotiator, I'm like, now you owe me a favor. And he's just like, nothing illegal. I'm like, no, if I need you to look at a file that you're not on, don't give me pushback. So there's always a plus side to relationship building with these people at the bank. Even if you never speak to them again, just sometimes those MAP representatives or those point of contacts, those relationship managers and the customer service reps, they get chewed out a lot. I was on the phone with the bank for a good year and it was awful. People should yell at me for everything. I was like, so ma'am, your husband took away your shoe fund of $40-something or whatever, how many dollars a month. Your mortgage payment is 40-something. It was like $47.16. I remember this. And you're in foreclosure because you don't want to pay the mortgage because your husband took away your shoe fund. And she's like, absolutely right. It's like, lady, just write the check for $2,000 and just be done with it. Like, just pay your mortgage. Or, they yell at me because their dog ate their bank statement and we needed the bank statement turned in that day and they needed more time. It's like, okay, instead of yelling at me for something that's obviously not my fault, how about you ask nicely and I can see what I can do by getting it extended. So it's all about you get more bees with honey than vinegar.
You get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar, 100%. So let's get back to this lady with the deed in lieu. How long ago did you speak with her?
I don't know, maybe about a week and a half ago.
Is it an area where we might have a buyer for it, or?
Nah, it's the one of the Missouri ones.
Got it. Any chance they might want to sell the loan?
It's Carrington, so no.
I gotta ask.
No, it's Carrington. No, it's Carrington FHA. No.
Guys, I want to make this clear because people are like, I'm gonna have to share this text with you later. They're like, people are like, I hear you guys do processing over there. Now I speak like that, but to have it come through and say processing coming over.
I mean, yeah, we process. What are you looking for?
We do a hell of a lot more than just do processing over here. We have relationships with asset managers, with banks. with servicing companies. So, we're a loss mitigation company. So it's, negotiating, whether it's a loan mod, whether it's a short sale, whether it's an actual settlement on the mortgage. Maybe sometimes we could even get the collateral paperwork, and maybe we could do a sale of the actual asset itself. And then there's our world famous foreclosure prevention.
Right.
So, I just think it's funny when people come across and they look at us as a processors. I have to show you this message that I received from somebody, and recently, as 10 minutes ago, we get messages all the time. So
Right.
it cracks me up to see what people have to say or feel, or people's interpretation of what Real Estate Recovery Group is. So
Okay.
it is what it is. I mean, look, people out there, they're going to do what they're going to do. I know we have a lot of haters out there for whatever reason. There's a lot of people that are trying to emulate what we do, which I think is amazing. Kudos. They don't have our paperwork. They don't utilize the same rules, regulations, and guidelines that we're using. And we're getting a lot of fluff or flow over from other individuals that are out there. Guys, we are not competition to anybody. Okay.
Yep.
We look to network with other people. It's opportunity. And I think people that really following Real Estate Recovery Group should seriously take this into consideration. Now, if you are a realtor and you're a broker and you're following us, when Leah and I are going to go live, or I'm doing these, 7 o'clock shows, I'm not doing them for my health. I'm doing it because we're giving continuous education for people. So share the group idea or the concept of the Short Sale 101 page, because I want people to understand what's going on. Does anybody have any questions or concerns with Leah or me?
I can never see the comments.
Let's see what we got here.
I mean, they're there, but I can't ever see them.
Now these are good question. Hey girls. I already know who that is, and it doesn't even say the name. Wake up. That's got to be Michelina. Let me see.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's funny because for whatever reason, StreamYard will not interact with Facebook, and I don't know why.
It does. They have to register their Facebook with StreamYard. So.
Which is stupid.
Right.
There it is. I guess if nobody has any questions or concerns, you're going to get off early tonight, Leah, which is great.
So I do want to address some questions that came through the group earlier this week while we're here. And I kind of want to try and do this once a week. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm supposed to be on these calls with Matt, but I'm getting a little burned out. So sometimes I'm taking my time and staying a hell away from everybody.
So these are questions that came into the group?
Yeah. So there was one earlier. Let's see here. Where did it go? I hate the way the group set up like this. Okay, so the homeowner with the house, he thinks the house was auctioned or foreclosed. So guys, in each state is different. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this out there.
I spoke with him, by the way, but go ahead.
Okay. So New Jersey's sheriff's offices have links for every county for their sheriff sales that are to come and have already happened. Now, granted, they only go back as far as a year. So if you run into a vacant property or you run into a homeowner who's just like, I think it went to sale, you need to go to the county sheriff's office and look for their foreclosure sales list. There's also there's another site, it's called salesweb.silverview. For Jersey, it also shows a couple other states. It does Newcastle County in Delaware, and does actually New Orleans, Louisiana, and there's 2 cities in Ohio. And the site is actually growing because more city and states are adding to it, where it tells you when the sale date is, what the upset is, who the foreclosing attorney is. It tells you sometimes who the servicer is. Sometimes it just tells you the trustee. It's a good way to start. Hands down. The other thing is if the homeowner isn't sure, have them call their bank. Ask their bank, did you foreclose on me? The bank has to tell them yes or no. So that's one thing I wanted to let you know, because tax records don't always get updated. Going back to something that we talked about way earlier today with foreclosure sales. So GSE, Fannie and Freddie's are the only ones that are getting the moratorium extension. No one else is at this time. One of my other negotiators that I could negotiate with, Gabe Ruffalo, him and I talked earlier today. Actually, we kind of talk like every other day now at this point. He asked me, he's just like, hey, he's like, do you see anything from FHA? Do you see anything from VA? Do you see anything from USDA? And the answer is no. I haven't seen any updates from them. We think that FHA will probably do an update at the end of the month when they typically release their mortgagee letters. So cross your fingers, because guys, FHA holds 80% of the country's mortgages. That's a lot. And these people are the working class. I'm an FHA mortgage, and I thank my lucky stars that I can pay my mortgage payment every month. But I could be in the same position, and I wouldn't know how to repay $1,000 payment for 3 months after forbearance is over. And FHA is becoming very unforgiving. Ben Carson has an iron fist on FHA, and it's ugly. So definitely keep up on it. Like I told you guys, I always post things from the FHFA.gov site. I'll post things from HUD.gov, from the VA, from the USDA. I go straight to the horse's mouth. I don't look on, what do you guys go to, like Housing Wire? Don't go there, please, guys. That's like the tabloids of housing market. Go to the actual investors' websites. Yeah, Housing Wire is awful.
Are you saying that National Enquirer is a horrible magazine too?
You know what? Not even gonna say no anymore, because UFOs are realer apparently. So you never know. I'm just saying, go to the investors' websites.
I got you.
They have them all there. So yeah, I can't think of anything else right now.
All right, guys. So this is something that people keep asking me about. Short sale class. We are in the process, in the event that we cannot do our event in October, for doing this online. So we will be doing the boot camp online in October, in the event that we can't physically do it live in person. We are also going to be working on some online material, and this is for literally 2020 going forward. So anything that you've learned in the past, as far as short sales, whether you're new in the business, whether you've been in the business for 4 years, or you've been in the business for 15, 20, 35 years, whatever, this is something that you're going to want to take. This is great for recourse or information. So stay tuned for information regarding that. And no, we are not offering CT credits. The answer is no, we're not doing it. Will we be doing it in the future? I don't know. We're not doing it now, but I will tell you this. If you like helping people and you like making money, then you should definitely understand the rules, regulations, and guidelines, find out the latest and the greatest, and figure out what the hell you're doing when you're working with short sales. Don't come at us and tell us you know what you're doing. We work on a file together. We ask you simple questions, and you don't know what to say because you have no idea what we're talking about. It's clear you don't know what you're doing. It's not about pride, guys. It is literally about helping the person that's in trouble. I just want to put that out there, Leah.
That's fine.
So if we have nothing else to talk about tonight, I've got a ridiculous amount of phone calls that I have to call back tonight for people that are waiting for my call. Or don't worry, I'll clue you in or three-way you in so you can get stressed out about some of these potential leads, transactions. Real Estate Recovery Group, guys. Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is a normal time for the shows. Now, on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, when available, we will be doing 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live stream shows as well at night. That show will specifically be on the Short Sale 101 group only, and that will not be on any other page other than this one. So if you see value in this, please share this. Well, you can't share the video because it's on a private group. Tell people to come on, say, hey, look, you got to hear what Lia and Matt were talking about tonight. They're dead on bull's accurate with what's going on in the market. Do not wait until it is too late. If you have somebody that's in trouble with the property, you have no problem answering questions. If you don't ask a question and you're holding off because you think you know the answer and your Google button is jammed and it's bringing up information from 2018, there's a reason for that. That person that put that content out is either in prison, I'm only kidding, or maybe not, and or maybe they retired and they got out of the industry. Our content is obviously flowing, and we are offering information to people that want to find out what their needs are. You could call toll free 866-739-3960. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 24/7. 866-739-3960. If you want to reach out to Lia and you want to ask her something, direct, you can obviously email Lia. Email Lia with your questions. Lia has a very heavy workload. Lia sometimes, 24 to 48 hours?
Yeah, roughly. Sometimes it's quicker. Then there will be times where I will, if it gets too much back and forth, I will actually probably try and call you to get it worked out. I try to keep my phone line clear, guys, because of the banks. Because as soon as I see a bank call come in, unfortunately I hang up on people. Sorry, because I didn't never know when I'm gonna get that call back. So
No, that's cool. You can always reach Lia at her direct email, which is it's Alpha Harry at RERGroupLLC.com. And obviously, you can reach out to Lia with any questions or current concerns that you have regarding any of the topics that we cover, whether it's during the day or night. So this is Matt Maronoff, Real Estate Recovery Group. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, it is not a no, clearly, until you get a restraining order, at least with Real Estate Recovery Group. Until next time, guys. And Lia, I'm not going to make you point tonight.
sweet.
Take care, everybody. Lia,
Bye,
hold on.
guys.